Steve Hanke, a professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University, thinks there's an 80% chance of the US falling into a recession, a chance much higher than previously predicted. During CNBC's September Fed survey of economists, fund managers, and strategists, those surveyed said there's a 52% chance that US could enter into recession over the next 12 months, but Steve Hanke said that the probability of a recession is much higher than 50%. He added that, if the Fed continue the quantitative tightening and move that growth rate and money supply into negative territory, it'll be severe. Hanke has been critical of the Fed's failure to manage inflation by keeping an eye on the large supply of money sloshing around in the US economy. They have really been searching for inflation and the causes of inflation in all the wrong places. They're looking at everything under the sun but the money supply, and in fact, they've doubled and tripled down on the argument that money has no relationship to economic activity or not a reliable relationship to economic activity and inflation, he said. He blamed the US central bank for rising inflation. The reason for that is because the Fed exploded the money supply, starting early 2020 at an unprecedented rate, and they don't want this length to be visible between the money supply and inflation. Because if it is, the noose around their neck, and that's the real problem. An increase in money supply drives up prices as consumers are willing to pay more for goods. Classical economics, as put forward by Milton Friedman and others, have pointed to money supply as the culprit for out-of-control inflation, Hanke added. He also said that the Fed flooded the US economy with large amounts of stimulus and liquidity to keep it afloat during the pandemic, but did not focus on carefully reducing that money supply over time. The M2 supply of money, a broad measure of money supply that includes cash and deposits, has been growing by double digits in the past 3 years. Now the growth of the M2 money supply is slowing too quickly and that could send the economy into a recession, Hanke warned. They are not addressing it correctly, he said. In the 5 months, we've seen broad money major in the United States flatline. It's not growing at all. And now they're going to introduce quantitative tightening, and what that's going to do that will drive the money supply down, that will drive it down into negative territory if they keep this up. Hanke said the right economic move would be to keep the money supply growing at a golden growth rate of 5% to 6% to get inflation to about 2%. Now it's 0, and it will probably go negative, the professor said. And that's why we will see a recession in 2023. What do you think about Steve Hanke's claims? Do you think he is right or he is wrong? Tell us in the comment.